Hello, I am Jason Gillard with AEP 858, the case study. To summarize the case, Mr. Rhodes is a first-year principal at Golden Oak High School, which Golden Oak High School is a school of about 965 students, 9 through 12. Mr. Newman, the superintendent, addressed his concerns for the student attendance rate. In recent years, the student attendance rate has dropped, and the current year marks an all-time low. 5 students have been reported to have a large number of absences. Each student has a detailed file explaining the reason for their absences. There are concerns for faculty members not considering district policy or making exceptions to the policies. And not all parents are on the same page regarding school policies. When we talk about the legal or ethical issues, at this point, nobody has been harmed by the decision or the situation that's going on. However, you do have the legal issues of truancy. What we consider the Prince versus Massachusetts, also negligence by the parents, and there are too many absences regardless of the reasons. The ethical issues, especially we kind of highlight the AD giving the quarterback special treatment just for him being on the quarterback of the football team, and teachers are not holding strong to the policy. Very inconsistent across the board when it comes to the faculty. Mr. Rhodes needs to address the rising issues concerning student attendance rates lowering due to students, parents, and faculty members not adhering to district policy regarding attendance. These are the facts. The people involved, Mr. Rhodes, the principal, 5 students with attendance concerns and issues, and the faculty members such as the teachers and AD. It is located at Golden Oak High School. This is a large middle-income population for the community, and large number of sports within the district. There is a declining attendance rate, and the program involved attendance policies and state laws. If they continue, then the state will have a pretty big deal with the school. The conflict could have an effect on stakeholders. The principal was tasked to fix rising attendance issues by the superintendent. The students, there are quite a few of them with multiple students that are missing school regularly or for several days at a time. The faculty is not following school policy, and the parents are also not following school policy, and they're not being held accountable. Not all stakeholders have been consulted. The community, for the most part, is unaware. This issue is kind of flying under the radar at this point, but it's better to catch it now than for it to become a big deal out to the public. Obviously, parents are not aware of the rising concerns when it comes to attendance rate, and the faculty, they are not aware that at this point their negligence for the policies is becoming a big issue, as well as they are not aware that they are on document for not following policy. At this point, the 3 options are do nothing. This has definite legal issues, and the attendance it will continue to decline. Mr. Rhodes' reputation is also on the line. Number 2, address issues with staff, parents, and students using data. Hold staff accountable and educate them. Discuss with students their attendance issues and inform parents of policies and repercussions. However, this may not be the most immediate fix. This may take time. And number 3, take control as the school leader by stricter policies and accountability. This does create extra work for principal, and it may cause more issues with a lack of support. Pros for option 1, it honestly might just fix itself in time. You don't have to step on anybody's toes, but in terms of cons, superintendent will see the principal isn't proactive, and it may just cause more attendance issues. Option number 2, educate everyone on the policy, get everyone on the same page, using data so that nobody can argue the facts. However, the cons, not everyone could buy in, and it just adds more work. Number 3, the pros, bring the hammer down and show who's in control, add more repercussions, and you might end up seeing results. However, cons, divide between staff and principal, parents not on the same page, and this might just make the principal look like a jerk. Ultimately, the best option is number 2 because it uses data to support rising concerns. It's not just the principal pulling something out of the air. He is able to show what he's talking about. It's also a good opportunity to reteach school policy. It's also, it may not show immediate results, but by holding the staff accountable for their actions, it's going to start having that domino effect of things falling into place. And the staff will also understand that if they don't start following the policy, that is a reason for termination. So if they can't do it, we'll find somebody else to do it. And parents will understand why students are being disciplined and held accountable. If the parents are on the same page, a large part of the job is kind of done at home. But if it's not being addressed at home, when they come to school, they're being disciplined for their lack of attendance, and parents will understand why. In terms of implementation, the principal will first collect data and make a data table in comparison to schools within the district. The principal then will start with we'll have a meeting with the faculty, educating them on policies and also explaining what will happen if policies are not adhered to. I think this is honestly the first and the biggest step in actually correcting the attendance rate issues, because right now you can't control necessarily everything that's happening at home with the students, but when they are coming to school, they're also not being held accountable by the faculty. There's just a large discrepancy between policy and what the teachers are holding the students accountable for. So I think really the biggest step is making sure that the faculty understands that they need to hold the students accountable for the policies that are in place. And once you get the faculty on board, a lot of the little small things will start to fall into place. But really the big issues I would have in talking with the faculty would be honestly the counselor for really not doing that job that well and being harder on them, but also the AD and telling the AD, look, nobody's getting special treatment, and that quarterback needs to be in school, because at the end of the day, everybody looks up to that quarterback, and if he's being held accountable, then other students will realize that they're going to be held accountable as well. Principal will meet with all parents in order to explain the attendance policy and the necessary discipline measures for frequent absences. Sometimes parents just kind of look over the information. They don't actually understand it, or they just never actually look over the information. So if you can get the parents there, and if you don't get the parents into the school, house visits are going to be the next step. But making sure parents understand that they need to be held accountable for the policy. And if they're not, this is the reason why your child's been disciplined at school. And then meeting with the students to educate them on attendance policy. Discipline measures will be taken seriously. They're not going to get a free ride anymore, whether they went to come to school or not. So, and there's kind of that delicate balance between, you don't want to discipline them too much because then they'll never show up for school, and then it's an actual state legal matter. But finding that right way to educate them and explain to them. But then I think at the end of the day, giving them a reason to come to school. So finding more ways to get students to enjoy being at school, side things, not just what's happening in the classroom, but ways to get kids excited to be in school, that will go a long way as well. And then all stakeholders have been addressed and have a clear understanding of the future ramifications of not following attendance policy, but also making it worth their while to come to school and enjoy it. And as long as we can come together as one and have a very clear understanding of the policies, the attendance rate should increase. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed.